the Disclosure Day movie has come out, and many of you have been waiting for our response. We're going to give a detailed breakdown of the movie, what it means for you, and what it means for this entire disclosure narrative. Tonight's going to be a very important show. Hit the like button. Go ahead and share it. Let's get into it. It's going to be great. Come on.
In the name of Jesus, you with me? Let's go!
You're watching The Big Picture.
All right, welcome in tonight. Let's go ahead and bring the Queen in right now. Here she is, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. She's in the house. The Queen is in the house. What's up?
It's great to be back.
It is. I think we say this every week. What a crazy week. We always have a crazy week here in the Ragland
and it's
home.
always true.
And it's always true.
And it's good to see all our friends coming in. And
Yes.
you guys have been talking to each other. We love that.
Yep. So if you're brand new to our channel, come on, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And hey, and if by the end of the channel, if you don't like it, just unsubscribe. But just go ahead and knock it out right now. Now, here's what you're going to see.
Not going to ruin it for you. We'll let you know in plenty of time so you can
look
exit.
at the screen. Look at the screen. So this is what I've put together.
There you go.
Spoilers coming, and that's going to happen right before we get into it. So you're going to be able to have we're going to give you plenty of time to let you know that if you don't want to know some of the detailed breakdown of it, then you can jump out, come back to the show and watch our review of it after you've seen the movie.
I will say one quick thing. I've only seen the movie twice. So I know some of you have seen it that many times or more, probably.
Let me give you a preview of what she's talking about.
Okay.
This was the first time we saw it. This is the digital copy of her handwritten notes, y'all, from the first time that we went to see it for research purposes.
30 pages.
Yeah.
Not a full-size notebook. What do you call that size? It's
I don't know. All right, y'all, here we go. I think we just go ahead and go there.
The Supernatural AI Update. Brought to you by Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy! It's the Supernatural AI Update. Are you ready?
I'm ready. How about you guys? Should we take a poll? Is everyone ready?
All right. So look, once again, if you're coming in late, if you have seen the movie, then you're going to want to stay with us. If you have not seen the movie and you don't care to see the movie and you're not planning on going to see the movie, stay with us as well. So what that means is we're going to give you our breakdown on some of the things that happened in the movie. Obviously, this is not a complete, concise breakdown because we don't have time to cover everything.
Right. Everything we say is what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding.
All right. So I think what we needed to do, Sandy, before we do the breakdown is we need to play the trailer.
Yes.
And there's a reason why we're playing this trailer.
Pay close attention.
So this was the first trailer that we played when we first heard about the movie. Here we go.
If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today is today's.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm gonna show you.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once.
People keep wondering. Encountering the unknown.
They're coming! They're coming!
They are starved for the truth.
Do you think there could be others? Why would he make such a vast universe? Yet save it only for us?
Okay. I will say real quick, whoever cut that up, the scenes up to make that trailer,
Yeah.
kudos. And there are there's two or three more different trailers.
Yes, two more at least, I know. And then a preview clip.
Very interesting. And I will say one other thing. Several of you are commenting about watching the Timothy Alberino breakdown today, or
I watched it too.
what he said or whatever. We have as well. He was not favorable to the movie for multiple reasons. I mean, he had a strong opinion about it. He was really disgusted with all of the car chase scenes and so much time in the car.
I was too.
He said, I think he used the word boring. But he also understands this is a message movie.
Right.
That this was not going up for an Oscar, although Emily Blunt does a great job of acting
she
as
really
well
did.
as others, but she really stands
She was the
out
standout. There's no doubt
as an actress.
Yeah.
But
I think Colin Firth was pretty good too. But
Colin Firth, great bad guy.
yeah, great bad guy.
What was his character name? Noah. I can't remember the last name, but anyway, let's go. Let's get into it.
All right. So the first thing we want to talk about, and once again, one more time, spoilers coming, spoilers coming, spoilers coming. So you make the decision at this point forward. The interesting thing, when this trailer came out, one of the narratives that channels like ours and us as well pointed out the strange one-liner there where he says,
Yes.
all 7 billion deserve to know. And we all know that at least the narrative that we're being told is there's over 8 billion people on the planet. So we started trying to do our theories about what happened to the other billion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one of the first things that we noticed in the movie is in the movie, he says 8 billion.
He does.
Same exact scene.
He does.
He says all 8 billion need to know. And we looked at each other and we was like, okay. So then you start asking yourself, why has no one pointed that out? First of all. Second of all,
and it would be
was
one
that
thing,
a planned thing to try to just throw us off?
confuse people. So it wouldn't
It's very
even be as big of a deal to you and me, but we can't remember at the moment what was the other television show or Netflix series or whatever.
It was Paradise.
Was it
I
Paradise?
think it was Paradise. The
Okay,
series.
the Hulu series Paradise.
Yeah.
Also used the number 7 billion.
Yeah.
But
then you get to the movie and it's 8 billion. And one of the guys that was with us, he made a good point. He said, I believe that we're going to have a Mandela effect. He said, I predict there'll be a Mandela effect that all of us that saw the trailer and went to see the movie, it will be virtually impossible to find the trailer that says 7 billion. They're going to wipe that and they're going to say, we never said 7 billion, but you just saw it. It's on the record now, 7 billion. So that's not a big thing, but I just thought that was
an
interesting.
thing.
It is a very interesting thing. And no one has come forth, Spielberg or anyone, and explained why they did that.
Oh, no, definitely not.
I would like someone to ask him, why did the trailer say 7 billion when you knew good and well that was going to stir up some people? Is that why you did it?
One of you has his cell phone, right? Could you get a message out?
Now, Sandy, also before we get into the breakdown of the movie too, I want to say, I want you to say how you feel. I want to say how I feel. I thought the movie was decent. I thought as a movie, just as a movie, if you were not going the way we went and way most people would go that watch this channel, it wasn't a great movie. And I would say emphatically, it was not in the top tier of Steven Spielberg movies.
Definitely not. I will go ahead and say this. If you put this movie up against E.T., Independence Day, something like that, abysmal. Not failure, but it cannot compare with that kind of movie, okay?
No.
But again, he wasn't trying to do that, in my opinion. This was a message movie full of Easter eggs for those who went with a basket to retrieve them.
All right, so let's look at our notes here, and then we'll just go down the line here. So when the movie opens, we have the character Daniel. It's very interesting. It opens up with a wrestling scene and a cage. And I thought how interesting that just a couple of days later, there was a cage on the White House lawn. But he makes a backpack drop and it hits fast. It goes fast. Immediately the narrative is told that this guy, Daniel, he has stolen a bunch of mini hard drives. And we find out quickly that he stole every secret file that the government or this company, what was it called? Wardex. And Steven
I
Spielberg
wish
said
I had written
it was a
down in my
fictitious
notes
company.
what that stood for, but the EX
Yeah, they
was
did
for
say.
extraction.
Yeah, it was.
And this was a private contractor that retrieved craft, bodies, back engineered.
Yep.
It even used the words interrogated.
Yeah.
The non-human intelligence. But yeah, so Daniel worked at Wardex. He steals all of this.
Yeah.
He's at this wrestling match, and that's the opening scene.
Yeah. And going back to Wardex, there was a scene there too where the DOD was in a room with Wardex. So it was implying that, this is an offsite so that we can deny this, but we are still involved.
Plausible deniability.
Yes. In fact, one of them even spoke up. This was a really powerful line. One of them spoke up and said, "We've got like hundreds of FBI agents that we could put on this right now to find him." And he goes, "Why would I want to use uninformed agents that do not know the facts when I have my own way of doing it?" Basically, is what he said.
Yeah, basically, I have my
called out the FBI.
I have my own security teams and containment teams, and quite frankly, they probably used to work for you guys.
Yeah, right.
But they work for me now.
So also what we see in that opening scene is not only does he have all these hard drives, he has what is called throughout the movie a device. There's one of 3 devices that it is implied was taken from a craft or something of that shape. And of course, when you see the aliens and we'll get to this, I don't want to get too far ahead of us, when you deal with the abduction and all that was in there, the devices that come down on their face is one of those devices. So that somehow they got 3 of those devices, and Daniel had stole one of them, and then another guy had stole another one, and then they had one left there at Wardex.
And my question about that, and it was, I don't know what you would compare it to in size, but you could hold it in your hand.
It's probably about this long.
Right.
Yeah, but this long.
And my question was, is that element 115?
Yeah, that's what Sandy was saying.
Is that Bob Lazar?
Is that what Lazar was
Element
talking
115? Because this device was used when, oh my goodness, he said 115. This device, when the power was cut in the television station, the device held in the hand.
Hey, stay online. Don't get too far ahead.
Look, I'm just going to give some examples of why I'm asking these at 115.
Okay.
When the power is cut in the television station, this device held in the hand of Emily Blunt powers back up the entire
energy force.
Television station. It also helped them to, what would you say, have abilities, paranormal abilities.
This device, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is
Tell
the section that we got.
everything that it can do.
So the device is central to the story. It appears to function as a key, a connector, or even a gateway. Hugo is one of the other characters that used to work at Wardex that left, and it is revealed into the movie that he had a relationship with these aliens, and that he helped one of the aliens escape.
Part of his job.
It's part of his job.
This is Coleman Domingo's character. His name is Hugo.
Yeah.
You will remember him from probably The Walking Dead or whatever. I don't know what else he's done. But his part of his job at Wardex was to interface with the non-human intelligence or aliens.
All right, so let's get back to the device. It's this device, Hugo says in the movie, his purpose was, to quote from the movie, to create a passage. So it's a portal creating energy force or something that was used in there. So we see it is central throughout the movie. And if you touched it without a glove on, it would basically, one guy grabbed it and he just disappeared and he came back. So it had the ability, we know it had the ability to make things invisible.
Transport you.
Transport you. And it would astral project you into a room. The famous scene in the trailer where he says, "Have a seat, Jane."
The bad guy, Noah, used it, we believe, for remote viewing as well as astral projection.
And remember what he said too, what he would call it. He would call it to dive in.
He dove on someone.
And listen to this. He said he could not dive in on an experiencer. Which was another word they never used abductee or that somebody's been abducted. They called it an experiencer.
Yep.
So if you'd ever had an experience with one of these beings, this device you would be restricted from being able to go and find them. So we found that later on as well.
He was restricted in a way that threw him out of his chair, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a very harsh denial, if you want to use that word.
And then, of course, early on, we were introduced to Maggie. And Maggie is the weather reporter that you saw in the trailer that starts speaking in this clicking noise. But to back up, before that ever happened, she's sitting there with her boyfriend. You think it's her husband, it's actually her boyfriend. They're sitting there and they're eating breakfast or something, talking about just regular life things. And he goes to open the window and to let some air in. And while he does, while they're talking about their future and all this, and she wants to move again, there's just sort of, you could tell
She's
sort of that there
always
was
been-
unsettled.
she's
Their
been unsettled
relationship was not
because-
really like they wanted it to be.
But
she wanted to move again.
She
and that
was
kind of stuff.
unsettled because of a traumatic event that had happened earlier in her life. You'll find out about later.
Yeah.
And she's always looking for something, trying to get to the place, the city, the location.
She's always saying, I can't find myself.
But I'll know, and
but
I'll be
know.
able to be settled when I get there.
So you see her sitting there, she's eating her toast and all this. And when the window is open, that's when you see the introduction of the cardinal, the red bird cardinal comes in and just, they think it's the cutest thing. And it flies in and just lights upon the table in front of her. And while her boyfriend is just like, oh, that's amazing. She just, the bliss that we talk a lot about, you see it.
She zones out.
The wind starts blowing her face. She has this bliss on her face. And that's when we find out later that the cardinal has just activated her. And that was an alien that takes on the form of animals. And we see why they did that.
And can we pause here while we're talking about cardinal? My question to you today was, could that be an underlying connection reference to a Catholic cardinal?
So. I think it's.
I'm not saying it is, but
I think it.
Wordplay. We're just throwing some things around
when you watch
here.
the movie, you would think so. Yeah.
This red cardinal, it activated her, as you said, and it had great authority in her life to, quite frankly, open a portal or unlock abilities.
Yeah.
I would even use the word latent ability.
Well, that's what they implied, that it was always there in a dormant state.
Yes.
And this bird coming in, which we found out later was actually an alien in the form of a bird, activates her, these things that were put in her. Now, let's back up and just go to this, because we're in the ministry. So we cover everything from a bit. What just happened? I just started the trailer again. I thought the word of God just activated something, but
it did.
the Bible, we look at everything from a Bible point of view. And so here's what happens. This movie, and some people are going to think I'm blowing this out of proportion, but I don't care. I'm going to speak my heart.
Yes.
I believe this movie was a very blatant attack against not just Christianity. I'll say more a little bit later about why I believe Christianity, but this was a blatant attack against people who believe in a biblical spiritual worldview, that believe in the gifts of the Spirit, that believe in the power of God, that believe that God is still moving. Because let me tell you what got activated in her by that cardinal. A gift of prophecy, a gift of word of wisdom, a gift of word of knowledge.
Yep.
All, fake. Because she comes right out of this. The bird leaves, and while she's talking, watch what happens. She begins to speak in tongues, okay? But in another tongue, another known language. She starts speaking in Russian, and her boyfriend is just like, and she has no idea she's doing it. And he's like, whoa, stop. She's like, what? And he says, when did you learn to speak Russian? She's like, Russian? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
And she just gets out and leaves.
She looks at the clock and says, oh, I gotta go. I'm gonna be late.
So she gets in the car, still not even understanding that she spoke in Russian. She's jamming out, going down the road, speeding, trying to get to work. She gets pulled over by a cop, and the cop starts trying to tell her, you need to get out. And then you tell him what she did to the cop.
He says, give me your license and registration. And she's like, we really need to do this. I've got to be somewhere. These timelines are really, he's like, I know who you are. I know you work for the news. And I think she pauses for a second and looks at the policeman before getting out of the car and starts reading his mail.
Reading his mail, prophesying to him.
Telling him everything that happened at home this morning.
Yeah.
That, you know, you didn't mean that you regretted your wife having the baby, and, you know, all the interaction that he'd had with his wife, because they're stressed out. They got a new baby, and all the things that are going on, just line upon line, went down what happened. And he's just standing there.
He's just like,
and then she's like, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on to work.
Thank you. Can I have my license back?
Leaves him standing. He's just standing there holding, and she just pulls it out of his hand and just takes off and
you can
goes
see him
to work.
in the distance.
And he's just still standing there. Like, what just happened?
It's just like what it was a mimic of what happens when God speaks to you.
So when
that's what they were trying to act like.
Let's just talk about this movie. Is, although Timothy Alberino used the word boring, it is still pretty fast paced in how things start unfolding. So when this happens to her, she's activated. Russian with the boyfriend. He's like, what? You speak Russian? She doesn't even know she did it. Leaves, gets in the car, gets pulled over, interaction with a policeman, comes flying into the studio because she's 3 minutes. She's got to be on the air doing the weather, which is the humongous scene that everybody has seen in the trailer.
Right.
So the makeup and hair person is chasing her around the studio, trying to get her ready. Her boss is like, listen, you're never going to get out of that weather position if you keep flying into work late and da-da-da-da. And there is guests on set sitting in chairs, and they're from Korea, and they're having a little, you know, a news piece about Korea.
Let me interrupt you.
We didn't need to say this.
The reason why he was there is that's when we're introduced to the fact that the world is getting ready to go to World War III.
On the brink.
On the brink. North Korea, Russia, and everybody is getting ready to launch nukes against America, and America's getting ready to launch nukes. So we realize, in all this little giddiness, she's going in to do the weather when we're on the brink of World War III.
So the backdrop of the movie is World War III. She's flown in off the street, about to do her weather segment. They're going to do a news piece with someone from North Korea, and he's talking with one of the producers that work at the show, and they're not quite understanding each other and the meaning of different words and phrases. And she just goes over and slides into an empty chair beside him and has a Korean conversation with him. And
she has no idea she's doing it.
She has no idea she's doing it. And then she tells the producer, no, he doesn't quite understand. He's trying to explain this to you. And then her male boss is like, what? And everybody's like, you speak Korean?
She's like, what are you talking about, Korean?
What are you talking about? So then she gets up. She has to get on set. And the big scene that
even
everyone
before
has seen
that, she starts reading everybody else's mail. She tells the hairdresser, the producer guy, go call him right now and tell him, call the cops.
No, this was the girl.
The girl, yeah, she's her, and then the other guy, I don't know what he was. He starts saying, it's okay.
His son.
Your son loves you. He needs you. She's just reading everybody's mail.
Every person she interacts with, she
false gifts.
Knows what's going on in their life, what's going on in their head. It's quite frankly an empathy and empathic type of thing of giving them advice of what they need to do in that moment or what's about to happen. So she has 3 or 4 interactions, barely gets up on her platform and says, hello, Kansas City. Yeah. And then obviously the clicking starts happening, and she faints right there.
She collapses right there.
She collapses.
So then we move on that back to Daniel. Daniel is telling his girlfriend.
And let's talk about the clicking possession. Would you say? When she has the clicking, would you call that full on?
Oh yeah,
possession.
It was possession. And then when you go with the clicking and the possession that you're talking about, she's speaking this and she don't know that she's doing it. Mm-mm. What happens then is through that clicking, we realize that that's how the Wardex identifies her, because they have that sound on file from one of the aliens, and they
call
match
it a dialect.
They match the
dialect. And also, the male main character, Daniel, he doesn't see or hear this immediately. He watches it later on his phone.
And wait a minute before you say it. I want to identify what you're about to say.
Okay.
when I saw what you're about to say, I called it, this is their fake gift of interpretation.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell what happened when he saw the video.
When Daniel sees the little clip of her on his phone, he understands her in English.
Completely.
He hears in English and understands her in English when no one else can hear anything except clicking. And also,
he actually thinks she's speaking in English.
Is he
and
standing
no one else can.
in, I don't know why this is happening at the same time, but is he standing in the field when he watches?
Yes.
And that's when
then the crop circle
takes shape
yeah.
right there.
So
but this is on later in the movie when he sees this.
So it's revealed throughout the movie that his narrative is he's running for his life because he has all the videos. And
his girlfriend.
Yeah, which we need to go
Jane.
there. Jane, is revealed that Jane becomes a very big part of the spiritual aspect of this.
Right.
Because we realize that Jane is a former nun in training. Okay. Now, that being said, let me go ahead and go here, Sandy. This is the first thing that I said to Sandy the Thursday night that we saw it by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the one thing I noticed, and it was so blatantly obvious, y'all, if you see the movie, whether you go to the theater, if you watch it on streaming, that's up to you whether you do that or not. We understand it if you choose not to watch it. But I thought, okay, this is a global event. All right. So stay with me, y'all. When they begin to roll out this disclosure towards the end of the movie, and you've seen the scenes, I'm not telling you things not in the trailer. Everybody's looking at their phone. Everybody's looking at the screen. They show Russians. They show every nation around the world is watching these disclosure videos going out. Well, here's one thing that I noticed. There was never a Muslim. There was never a Jew. There was never a Buddhist. There was never in the entire movie even a hint that there is even another religion that even exists other than the Catholic Church and Christianity and the Bible, this Bible, our Bible, and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was misquoted in this Bible.
Right.
And the villain takes on the role of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. They call out the Garden of Gethsemane and looks at this woman who is the former nun that's now being controlled by this device and says, what did your Lord say in the garden when he said, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me? Let me tell you, there was not another religion. And by the way, Steven Spielberg claims to be a Jewish believer. Here's the thing. Why not put a Jewish believer in there? Why not put one Muslim watching the screen? There was never even a reference to another religion. Am I right?
It's true. And I was proud of you for so very keenly picking up on that and following that narrative out, because that is what happened. That's how he chose to portray this part of the movie.
Absolutely. So let's backtrack just a little bit. Okay, so when Daniel has the files and he begins to show them to his girlfriend, it's very shocking that he shows he shows Nixon taking Jackie Gleason in to see aliens. And so that's always sort of been a rumor and a conspiracy theorist. But I thought it was interesting that Spielberg chose to recreate that supposed event, and he shows his girlfriend that. She identifies Nixon, and she says, who is that with Nixon? And all she says is he was a famous movie star. It doesn't say his name. And then it shows Nixon taking them in and pulling out and revealing bodies. And that's why when she says in the scene, are these human? Are these people? And he's like, no. And immediately, Sandy, at that point, what did they do? They begin to show that we, listen to me, audience, are the bad guys.
Right.
The videos immediately, even before we ever get to the disclosure, all we see is us torturing these beautiful, wonderful, kind beings, that we were torturing them.
Yeah, I don't know if the word interrogation was used at that point, but I think one was lying on an exam table or something, and it was clearly in distress. I don't know if they were trying to detain it, but the implication was they wanted to examine it or interrogate it or question it. And quite frankly, it was screeching and
it was
putting its hands up, if you want to call them hands.
Yeah.
And
I'm just very
making
obvious
a lot
they were
of
in
noise.
pain.
in pain
They were
and
in pain.
distress.
Yeah.
And that caused a very strong reaction from Jane. She became very upset about that. And the intention of the movie was, to make us, the humans,
we are the
look
bad guys.
bad
We
and
are
to
the bad-
create
yeah.
empathy.
There was, correct me if I'm
for
wrong, Sandy, there
the
was never
entity.
a moment that I remember. We saw it twice, y'all. I don't remember a moment where anyone ever even insinuated that they could do us harm. They were,
Ladies and gentlemen,
they were the greatest things that ever happened.
they lightly danced. Well, I don't know if you would say lightly danced around abduction. Clearly, they were showing that Maggie, the Emily Blunt character, and Daniel, I'm sorry, I don't know his real name, were taken as children, and we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But no brutality of abduction, no probing. And here it is. No, not one mention of the hybridization program. Certainly nothing about cattle mutilation.
No.
Like he's saying, other than the fact that, quite frankly, a traumatic event had happened and that they had PTSD that they really couldn't identify until we get into this movie. No harshness, no damage, nothing mean or ill intention from the aliens.
And speaking of abductions, it doesn't just imply, it says that they were the only two that's ever been taken.
That's the words Coleman Domingo used. And
you were the only two. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to insult all these people that have had, what do you call them, demonic interactions, whatever you want to call it, these thousands upon thousands of people that tell these stories. It says you were the only two.
Entire families that it started with their parents as children, and they have been abducted throughout their life. And then it passed down to the second generation and third generation.
Yeah, I like, look, Marsha's got a great point. Yeah, how about that nobody addressed the fact that taking children is okay?
Exactly.
I mean, why didn't you take adults? You took children because their minds are moldable. And what they didn't just insinuate, but reveals that when they took them, they went into their eyes. That's why you see the eye all the time on the poster. And they inserted through the eye, which is the portal of the soul, is what many people believe, the abilities. Daniel had the ability to automatically, supernaturally understand math, which is called the language of the universe.
But
and she had the ability to be one of us.
Don't want to get too far ahead. We're trying to go down as chronologically as we can.
Yeah.
Daniel says in the movie he saw his red cardinal. He was activated at age 20, 18 or 20, I believe.
When he was in college.
And he had all of these math skills, and he understood that the clicking was tied to math.
Was equation, mathematical numbers.
Right. And
which is their language. The clicking was supposed to be math that they were speaking.
Yeah. All right. So let's try to get back to the timeline and the chronology of the movie.
So let's go back to Maggie. So Maggie starts throughout the movie, you start seeing her gift is she knows where to go telepathically. She don't need a GPS. She has a built-in GPS. She just gets in the car and starts driving. She knows that she's supposed to find Daniel. She don't know where he's at. She just knows, okay, he just turned east. He just turned west.
Hugo continues to encourage her. You'll find me. You'll figure it out. You'll have an urge or a sense, and you'll know where to go.
So she ends up, through just her intuition, the power, whatever, finding her way all the way to a military base, walks into military base. All these powerful people are trying to stop her, and she just starts reading all their mail, and she just stuns all of them.
We should back up just a little bit. When she faints on set, they take her immediately to the hospital. They start examining her. They do an MRI. There's nothing wrong that way with you. While she's in her room waiting, she can see through a glass window that her doctor is speaking to men in suits. And she immediately, the nurse comes in and says, yeah, they're from the FBI and they want to ask you some questions. And she looks at her boyfriend and says, they're not from the FBI.
Right.
And the nurse leaves. She's like, we're getting out of here. And so they basically go through a side door or whatever and escape the hospital. Well, they're on the road, and I don't know if there's a scene in the trailer where she's on the cell phone with Daniel because she ends up calling or talking to Daniel and saying, I don't know who you are, but
they're going to kill you.
they're going to kill you.
Yeah,
of course,
don't go back in the house.
Her boyfriend is like, what? Who
You've
is
lost
this
your
Daniel?
mind.
So
Yeah.
they pull over to a gas station.
Yeah.
And at this point, everybody is almost raiding the gas station because the whole war situation has gone up in seriousness, and they're buying all the water and they're buying all the food in the gas station. So while he goes into the gas station to get them some drinks, some water, he calls the doctor, and he says, the recap should give you anxiety.
It's giving me anxiety, and I'm doing it.
He calls the doctor inside the gas station and says, send the ambulance. She's getting worse. She's much worse than she was. Well, while he's in there, she's like, he's not on board with this.
Yeah.
She takes off in the car. So.
All right. So look, you know what I feel? I feel like some people are getting crazy.
I know.
Because we are just all over the place.
We're all over the
and
place.
people are like, why would I go see the movie now? You're telling us the entire movie. So we're not going to tell them everything. Sam.
Yeah, we're not going to tell them
everything. All right. So one thing I do want to point out is when she gets to the military base and she just walks in on them and they've got Daniel there and she finds Daniel. The scene in the trailer where we thought she's a shapeshifter or something, it's revealed that she has the ability not only to read your mail, but she can holograph or whatever, become the person that you love and you miss the most. So the villain, the woman that you see her shift into is actually his wife who had passed away. And she stuns him by that.
Yes.
Now, I want to fast forward to, she uses that ability to get Daniel and they walk straight out and no one can stop her because she's just using this ability. Well, then she gets to where Hugo is, where when she gets there, they pick her up in a fire engine because they're thinking, okay, nobody's going to stop a fire truck. So they drive this fire truck here. And when they get there, they have found out throughout the movie, you're trying to figure out why Hugo keeps having all this construction behind him. They have rebuilt a replica of her home when she was abducted to maybe try to trigger her in this. Well,
Right.
she gets out. This is the part I want to just say this and then maybe just sort of start winding this down because I don't want to say,
Mm-hmm.
don't want to break down everything we've got in these notes because my wife is a copious note taker. But she starts reading everybody's mail right before she goes into that house. And this was one of the most biggest scenes of the movie for me.
Right.
Is she looks at this one woman and calls her name and says something. Well, that woman becomes enamored by Maggie. And she literally goes over to her. This is what I've always said, y'all. I've always said it's all about the Creator. It's all about taking the place of God. And when she sees her, now obviously this is a strong Catholic woman or a Catholic believer, because she walks over to her, she kneels down and looks up at Maggie, does this, the sign of the cross,
Right.
and bows down and begins to worship Maggie. And Maggie comes back and screams, no, I will not be anyone's religion.
Right.
And rebuked it at that point. But that was the moment that I realized this is not a subtle, this is a open statement to us that that Steven Spielberg and the people, the powers that be, believe wholeheartedly that when these false signs and miracles and false gifts start operating, because let me tell you something, if somebody's demon possessed, it's nothing for them to tell you what's going on, to what demon thing they did to you. They can put a sickness on you, take that sickness off of you, whatever. Jesus warned us about false signs and miracles. This is showing us in the movie that they know that many religious people will be moved by those signs, and they will. That's what Steven Spielberg himself said, that he feels like that the Christian faith, or at least he implied the Christian faith, will be challenged to find out who God is, whose God he really is. Is he only our God, or is he the God of other planets as well? And then you have the I guess you'd call her Mother Supreme. She's
not Mother Superior. She is probably like the main nun
of the
monastery. Yeah.
And she is the force that helps Jane, the former nun in training, to be at peace with herself when she calls her. Remember, she says, what would you do if someone showed you proof that we are not alone. She immediately knew what she was talking about, and she said, it wouldn't bother me at all. That's when she has the famous line, why would he create such a vast universe and make it all just about us? And the thing that bothered me the most about the nun character, the mother nun character, is that when at the end, when they start, and we do need to talk about the end, when they do take over the news, they make it back to the news area, and all of the files get released, and they start showing them all over the world, and they start showing the reactions. They show her, she leans her glasses down, looks at it, and she smirks with a smirk, y'all, that is like, yes, this is what I've been waiting on.
What is the line she says? Jane asked her the question, and she says something on earth, the supreme.
Oh, yeah.
How did she put it?
The question was, the statement was, that we were his prized creation, that we were created in his image, that he was our God. And she said, on earth. When your Bible talks about that he is the God and you were created in his image and you were special on earth. So the word of God was misquoted. The whole line, I'll let you go find it for yourself, but the whole line about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane was unbelievable to me. And then he said, I'll be that to you. Basically, I'll be here for you. If you choose this route, you got to do the best thing.
We need to talk about a couple more things concerning Hugo. He had constructed her childhood home. Okay. So I don't know how long he'd been plotting this, but he took 12 Wardex employees with him.
Let's do this right here, and then you finish your thought.
Okay.
Mother Spirit message was God is the God of humans on earth, the God of other life forms. Watch again. Yeah, I mean, I've watched it. I've seen it twice. You're right. That's what I was trying to say. But that you're exactly right. The God of humans on earth. Go ahead.
So Hugo brought 12 Wardex employees with him, and they were missing from work for this one day. So the bad guy Noah, he's plotting. He's like, I want to know everybody who didn't come to work today. And they've been working on this all along. And obviously he's constructed her childhood home to become a portal.
Yeah, right.
So that she could reunite with Daniel and they could come back to this house and she could go back and finally use her childhood home to unlock the parts that she had been blocking because she had been traumatized and she couldn't remember these things all her life until this time. So what is revealed during this part when her and Daniel take the device and they're both holding the device because it helps them to, I don't know if you say unlock these abilities or get back or go through the portal or whatever. It shows both of them as children. And I had seen someone in comments talk about the Hansel and Gretel house. So during this abduction, a lot of deception was used. So to keep the children, I think the words, to keep the children calmer, the aliens
listen to this
did appear as animals. The deer, the fox that you will see in multiple scenes in the movie, the cardinal. Was there one more animal?
And a raccoon.
A raccoon.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that she was doing in the scene of the abduction was singing and humming a Disney song. I think it's One Day My Prince Will Come.
Snow White.
The Snow White.
Yeah. Which, by the way, in the scene when she's singing that, she's surrounded by animals.
She's surrounded by animals. So it's
I'm talking about the Disney movie of Snow White. Snow White.
So that really was riveting to me, and I'm sure permission had to be granted to be able to use that, and so on and so forth. That was very riveting to me. So during that time is when you see the two children lying on the exam tables. The thing comes on top of their head. The alien hands come across their face. All that part. Here's another thing. So they realize Noah and all of his henchmen and security team have figured out where they are, and they're descending on this warehouse where the house has been constructed. So they use the device. You've heard about cloaking. You've heard how UFOs can cloak themselves,
Right.
basically bend light around
Bigfoot.
themselves. And you can be looking up.
Aliens.
And what Bob Lazar even said,
Yeah.
he was standing underneath a UFO, looked straight up and could see nothing because it had bent the light around itself. Well, they use the device to cloak the entire house that's been built and 2 fire trucks. And they use that to help make their escape. So they're on the run again now.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that it was very easy to miss when she was retelling when she was abducted, she says something like, "When I walked through the window,
Yes.
I felt
Yes.
such peace." So basically, they took her through.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't climb. She didn't go through a door. They took her through.
And I'm sure a lot of you have heard people say, I
Yeah.
floated through the wall.
Yeah.
I floated through the ceiling. What is this?
Right.
What is this? I wouldn't even call that technology.
And they
What do
said-
you call that?
And she said, when I was walking on the snow barefoot, it was so warm on my
Warm
feet.
and
So it
relaxing.
was all about making these aliens to be the sweetest, kindest thing ever, and to be our savior. Because think about when they showed up.
Yep.
They showed up when the whole world's about to go into World War III. They were eventually showed up. Now, Sandy, let's bring this
Let's
ship
bring
down.
it down. So
to
they
Atlantic.
escape the warehouse where the fire trucks are and the house. They've got to get to the TV studio because why? The whole thing is about disclosure.
Yeah.
This whole why we're doing all that we're doing is to disclose this to the world by uploading all of these video clips, these mini drives that Daniel has stolen, get them on the air so that we can have this disclosure.
Yeah. So when they finally get there and they do that, this is the big culmination. They are able to get a hold of all the networks. They put all the videos out. They show Roswell. They
Mhm.
show what's the one in Pennsylvania?
Kecksburg, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
I thought that he could have done a lot more with that part. A lot of you know this is like a 1964, 1965 incident. A lot of people refer to this as the acorn-shaped craft that
Yeah.
came streaking across the sky and crashed into Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. When the people in the community went up to see what was going on, the military was already there,
Yeah.
telling people to go back home and so on and so forth. But they did. There were 3 things he did, clips he showed. That was the second one. And was the third one what we believe is the Eisenhower
Right.
meeting
yes.
with the aliens
It definitely implied
at the
that.
Air
yeah.
Force Base and making the agreement?
Yeah.
What was the first one?
The first one was Roswell.
Roswell. Right.
Roswell. And of course, it actually says Roswell on there, so you know what it is. So the newscaster starts getting emotional, all of this, and then all of a sudden, as Sandy said earlier in the program, they cut the power. Wardex tries to stop the power. They cut the power. They cut the generators so that they don't have ability to do it. Jane runs up and gives her the
device.
The device. She turns the device. She turns all the things back on through this energy that comes from it, and then the lights come on, and then the villain just takes his headset off, sits down, and he goes, "I can't stop this at this point." And then this is the
Then
crazy
the coup de grace.
the coup de grace.
folks. Woo!
So listen, y'all, they wheel in this something.
Oh,
And-
we should say this. They started out broadcasting this from their local channel. Then
Yeah.
they get on the phone to New York. They're like, you need to pick this up. Then
Right.
they get on other states and other networks. You need to pick this up. You need to pick this up. So it's going out everywhere, even all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's showing scenes of people on buses,
Yeah.
on the street,
Right.
in restaurants, in their
on
homes.
the battlefield.
On the battlefield,
Soldiers.
everybody is
Everybody's watching.
looking at their phone, looking at their device, sitting around the television. It gives you the image that around the world
Unity.
at one time,
Unity.
we are getting worldwide disclosure.
Yeah. And then Hugo saves his best for last. He says, "Bring him in." And y'all, they wheel something in like a bag or something. And he unzips it, and you can see a silhouette of a large head. And all of a sudden, y'all, I can't even believe I'm saying this. An older, elderly, geriatric
Yes.
alien that's in
In
a
a
wheelchair
wheelchair.
that can't walk is in this enclosed environment, and this old alien gets out
Mhm.
that Hugo had helped escape, goes over. Now watch this, listen to me. I've picked up on this the second time, not the first time, that I believe that Daniel and Maggie were Adam and Eve. I believe it was a mockery against Adam and Eve, and that they were meeting their creator, because what did he do? Before he ever speaks, before the alien is ever revealed, he goes to his children, basically, touches them, blesses them, but one to the other, leans in and begins to speak in the clicking noise, and Daniel hears it. Daniel turns to Maggie because she can't interpret it and tells her what he says. She stills herself, goes over to the camera,
goes back at the news desk,
grabs the mic. They zoom in on her, and everybody's waiting to see what the alien says. And y'all, we're going to say it together. This is the last line of the movie.
She leans in.
1, 2, 3.
And says, listen. And then that's it. Fade
That's
to
the
black.
end of the movie. You know what some people are saying? They believe he was setting up a sequel. I'm like, come on, come on.
We should point out, I don't know that this matters, but this was a tall alien.
Yeah, this was a tall. This
what
was
would
not.
you say? 7, 8, 9 feet?
Yeah, he's at least 7 feet.
The other, all the other images of aliens or
grays.
Non-human
There was no
intelligence were the
little grays. There was no reptilians. There was no Nordics.
No.
You know, there was no mantis. There was just the grays.
Right.
And like you said, they were all tiny except for that last one. It was very big.
Yes.
But y'all, it was a very anticlimactic ending, but it was also chilling because it was like Steven Spielberg left it open to say, try to figure out what was the rest of what we're supposed to be listening to. But I don't think it was really that. I think it was, we have something to say and you're going to hear it. And when you do, listen to what we have to say. But let me tell you something right now. That's what Jesus said. See that you be not deceived.
Yes.
For many will come in my name saying that they are the Christ, but it's a fraud. It's a fake. So y'all, this is the days of Noah that we're in. And I'm telling you, it was, I know we've been all over the place. We don't know. This is the first movie we've ever reviewed in our lives.
This is a hot mess and we're sorry
for that. It's a hot
that.
mess. We understand that. But y'all, it was not that great of a movie. It was not a 5-star movie, nothing like that. No. It was not one of Steven Spielberg's best movie. But
not by a long shot.
For those channels that are so-called Christian channels, and I don't mean that, I shouldn't have said so-called, but Christian channels that are saying there was not really any kind of message in that, I don't know what movie they watched, because I felt like the whole movie was a message.
Yes.
An anti-Christian message.
You
I really
had
believe that.
So many different, if you want to use the word processes, you have the religion angle. You have all of these paranormal type abilities from remote viewing and astral projection and being able to make yourself appear to be someone else. If you want to use the word reading someone's mind, being able to strongly influence others to do what you want them to do. I mean, if you want to add to that list, there's just so much.
Michael, let me help you. Demons. You must be new to my channel. It's okay. It's okay. He's like, why? But we haven't really said that.
Right.
So I think we need to make it very clear. And by the way, we're not just saying they're demons. We're saying they are demonic.
Yes.
And they're fallen angel technology. They are from another dimension. We do not believe they're from another planet. We do believe that this is what Jesus was saying. I'm not going to just label them demons, because, first of all, you got to know what a demon is. And demons are disembodied spirits. But there are fallen angels. There are demonic forces involved. Yes, they are from the darkness of the world. And by the way, they are not our friends. No. And they are not here to help us.
No, they were painted in the light in this movie that they wanted you to see them.
Yeah.
But yeah, in calling them aliens, we're just trying to do a movie breakdown so that you can understand what we're talking about in the movie. But
if I had a wig that put up that big hair like the ancient alien guy, I would say, I'm not saying they're demons, but they're demons.
Right.
Does that help you? It's demonic. I'm not saying this. I should say demonic. It's demonic. Y'all, there was never a moment where anybody even questioned, why did you take children from their room? Why did you take children from their family? There was never a moment that these aliens had anything ill towards us. In fact, you heard this word over and over again, empathy. Yes. It was all about the narrative that you have to follow their example of kindness. if we're going to save the world.
So at the end, when Hugo wheels in the tall alien, he had told his boss, the mean guy, the bad guy, Noah, that the alien had escaped. But clearly he had taken the alien off site and been having communication with him the entire time and taking care of him the entire time. So you've got that weird relationship going on, but it's always good and positive with the aliens and about the aliens, and they're going to help us, and there's so much to be learned and gleaned from through our relationship. Deception.
All right, so let me just tell you a couple quick things before we go. Number one, be looking for our I'll have my normal Bible study Wednesday night, and it's going to be a very powerful teaching on understanding the difference between purpose, vision, and destiny. But then Thursday night, y'all, we've got the man, Joe Horn, son of the late Tom Horn. It is going to be a tremendous show. We talk about his father, who was way ahead of everyone else in this narrative. Y'all, if he was alive today, one of the things, I'll give you a preview that he said, I asked Joe, I said, if your father, Tom, was alive right now and all of this rollout disclosure, what would he say? And y'all, it was so moving. He said, my father, you have to know this about my father. He said, he wouldn't really be talking about it because my father was always 10 to 15 years ahead and said it would, all that what's going on now would be nothing to him. He would be telling us of what's coming out of this.
I think so.
And I thought, wow, that's number one. And then number two, pray for us. Sandy and I are going to Nashville, and I will be in studio. If you follow Blurry Creatures, I'm going to be in studio with Blurry Creatures, going to be doing an interview on that. I don't know when it will drop. I'll let you know when it airs. But I'm very excited and very honored to be in the Blurry Creatures studio. And if you don't follow them, go check them out. They're an incredible channel that are two men of God that deal with issues like this. And to be able to go on their program, I'm just so honored. So closing thoughts, Sandy, on Disclosure Day, the movie, in our chaotic movie review. I don't know if we'll ever do another movie review. Y'all let us know if we should or not.
If we do,
be nice.
I'm in charge. Look, I don't know if this helped you at all. If you've not already gone to see the movie, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I think that it was just another stepping stone in our disclosure saga that we're all living through and seem to have a front row seat to. I haven't even begun to get into this latest release of files and documents that we just had.
Right.
But, look, you know what's going on. Whether you don't need to see the movie. Whether you see the movie or not, you've got a gist of what the movie was even created for. And we know our mission here, right?
Yes, come on.
We are doing this together. Come on. This is big picture family.
Yes. It's awesome. Awesome. All right. So we're going to let you go. And, we like to always announce this when it's time because we get excited. Grandbabies are coming tonight. So we're going to go have a downtime with our grandbabies tonight. So everybody be blessed tonight, no matter what's going on in the world. I don't care what Washington says. I don't care what Hollywood says. Spielberg said, they can roll out a geriatric alien on a wheelchair and try to tell us to listen. We ain't listening. We ain't listening to that. No, because we listen to God and to the word of God, and we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
Help us build the big picture family. We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. Go to LarryRagland.com to give a one-time gift or become a monthly partner. Any amount blesses the entire big picture family. While you're there, pick up our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect on social media, and get on the big picture mailing list at LarryRagland.com. Join us and be a part of the big picture family where we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.